Our next speaker is Darina Joy, and Darina hails from Vilcabamba, Ecuador. She's a Chernobyl survivor, and she calls herself the Optimistical Psychonaut, um, and is going to talk to us about her explorations with 5-MeO-DMT, psilocybin, ayahuasca, San Pedro, Bufo, Kambo, and beyond. Please welcome Darina Joy.
Hello, everyone, and thanks, Lakshmi, for the introduction, and thanks, everyone, for the sharing so far. They have been amazing. Today, I will be speaking about the awakenings and transformation that resulted from my entheogenic and psychedelic explorations and adventures. And I sometimes call myself an optimistical psychonaut. For more than a decade now, I have experienced an incredible healing powers of many plant medicines around the world. And I'm going to share many insights, realizations, and epiphanies gained during this unique journey with various entheogens that included 5-MeO-DMT, psilocybin, ayahuasca, San Pedro, Bufo, Kambo, and others. Plant medicines have had the most profound and life-changing impact on my life. After not having used any street drugs or illicit substances till my 40s, I intentionally chose to experience the effect of 5-MeO-DMT first with conscious preparation, trusted facilitation, and amazing outcomes. The complete loss of identity, ego, and death of so many illusions, while experiencing extraordinary awakening, multiple epiphanies, and countless realizations were astounding. The total effect can certainly be classified as the most important and transformative event, experience, and milestone in my lifetime. What followed was an amazing journey of psychedelic exploration and conscious healing with various plant medicines, including the ayahuasca, magic mushrooms, the San Pedro cactus, the extracts from the toad, Bufo, and Kambo, and others. Each and every entheogen offered priceless experience, higher perspective on living and dying, and deeper healing on all levels. The beauty, the mystery, and wisdom being revealed with each and every medicine journey have been a blessing for me and many of my friends and family. But first, a little prehistory about the unique healing journey of dealing with extreme nuclear radiation from Chernobyl and Fukushima accidents to the 10 plus years cancer journey with my mother and the more than 10 years with epilepsy with my ex-partner, and to a lifelong healing of several autoimmune diseases and their impact on me and my life. I was born in the beautiful and mystical country of Bulgaria and lived 2 decades there and 3 years in Morocco, Africa, and then another 2 decades in different states of the United States. I also lived and traveled in more than 20 other countries, but the last 6 years living right here in Ecuador, where I'm currently now, on the Andean mountain top with a wolf dog and a tomcat, who are the best interspecies friends I can ever witness or imagine. I was a very healthy child till 1996 when Chernobyl nuclear accident drastically changed my life. I was 14 at the time, and after the communist government lied about its occurrence for weeks, we were told that the nuclear cloud that hung about the country was harmless, only to cause tons of harm to me and millions of others in the form of various cancers, thyroid and autoimmune diseases, and so much more. In my case, it triggered systemic lupus, the worst autoimmune disease, where the immune system attacks and often destroys one's own systems and organs, and that, according to conventional medicine, has no cure, requires lifelong medications and harmful immunosuppressive treatments with so many toxic side effects that are way worse than the disease itself. So after being on high doses of corticosteroids for practically most of my life, which shut down my adrenals, and experiencing several near-death experiences in various hospitals due to doctors' mistakes, I dedicated my 20s in proving the doctors wrong in their horrible predictions and terrifying prognosis. So here is a list of all the odds I have defied and the 10 major predictions I have proved wrong after being diagnosed with lupus more than 30 years ago. First, they said you will never be able to graduate college, but I graduated on time and with honors, both my bachelor's and master's degrees. They said you can only dream about the graduate degree, and I earned a full scholarship for the top international MBA degree and graduated in record 8 months from the #1 international management graduate school, Thunderbird in Arizona, with MBA and MIM degrees. They said you should never even aspire for any job or let alone career. So I excelled as a director of marketing of the leading enterprise software company in the US, Computer Associates, for many years. Then they went to say you will never be able to walk after a severe knee infection caused by doctor's mistake, required several surgical procedures to extract the infection without anesthesia due to severe allergic reaction. As a result, I started walking again and even running a month after leaving the hospital on my own and following natural home treatment and intensive recovery. Then I was told again that I will never be walk again, nevertheless. After starting to limp and being diagnosed with avascular necrosis, which means bone death of both my hips, I somehow managed to resume walking and exercising after graduation and after starting a treatment with many supplements and herbs and energy treatments. And then they continued. You should never attempt even intense exercise, postures. I learned as a result to do a split and headstand and body bridge at 32 and enjoyed yoga and tennis and even rock climbing in my 30s. But all of the doctors and even family and friends were so worried about my complex diseases that they were always warning me that I should never try anything too risky. And the rebel that I was, I spent my 30s in mountain and aerial adventures around the world. I started with skydiving in Tandem in Long Island for my 30th birthday. And then I soared with a glider over the Grand Canyon and paraglided on the Oregon coast in tandem and as well as solo. I enjoyed flying trapeze in New York City and even did a bungee jump in Las Vegas. I experienced the big shot in the air in Seattle and did hot air ballooning in New Mexico, gravityless flying in Florida, and loved parasailing and swimming with the dolphins in Hawaii. Then during a trip to Costa Rica to do clowning with the real Patch Adams in the cancer hospitals, there I even did Tarzan zip lining and then went to India to celebrate my birthday on Mount Kailash and moved there to Peru, where I climbed Machu and Huayna Picchu. But I also enjoyed not so risky and extreme adventures when I went to these trips back to my homeland country of Bulgaria, where I enjoyed the beauty and mystery of the sacred 7 Rila lakes there, as well as the gorgeous emerald Canadian lakes in Banff. And recently the spectacular volcanoes here in Ecuador, which we are surrounded by probably like a dozen of them. To continue the prognosis of the doctors, they said, oh, you will never get cancer, at least that's the good news, because it's at the other end of the spectrum of the autoimmune diseases, but they were wrong because I got diagnosed with cervical cancer condition, but luckily succeeded to turn it around again by using natural therapies and healthy diet and exercise and energy healing and of course plant medicines. Meanwhile, my mom got diagnosed with breast cancer So they said that she will never make it without surgery, chemotherapy, radiation, the usual thing. She will not even live up to 2 years from her diagnosis. But we went on this incredible, intense healing journey with her, which lasted more than 10 quality years instead of the 2 years prognosis that she was given. And we managed to control her tumor growth by changing her lifestyle to include everything from healthy eating, healing herbs, supplements, regular exercise, CBD, THC, you name it. Lastly, they said, oh, you will always have lupus, you will never find a cure. Luckily, I have been symptom-free and in remission for many years, and I'm healing on all levels. I found that plant medicine, especially medical marijuana and entheogens, have been the closest to a cure there is. So after spending my 20s proving the doctors wrong and learning about hundreds of different alternative modalities, natural remedies and complementary treatments, I spent my 30s on a breast cancer journey with my mother and taking her on healing journey to the alternative cancer clinics in Mexico, and even to one of the most famous world healers, John of God, all the way to Brazil. Meanwhile, I was doing a new and different aerial adventure on every birthday. So over 10 years ago, my life was changed most dramatically in every possible way imaginable. From being exposed to another significant dose of nuclear radiation from the Fukushima accident, while residing in Ojai on the Southern California coast, that prompted me to learn and get certified in chelation in order to decrease the radiation and clean the heavy metal toxicity in my own body and those of my family and friends. From being skeptic about all the gurus and avoiding all religious practices, to becoming initiated by the only Swami in the US in a 5,000-year-old Indian lineage, who is a highly ordained Himalayan Vedic monk that hails from an unbroken lineage of combined heritage of rishi sages and meditation adepts, with only a few other monks still alive, meditating in the Himalayan caves and communicating only telepathically still. These powerful initiations of authentic Kriya meditation practices and techniques in the Asian Vedic traditions were combining in a unique way the best of the East and the West, the Asian and the modern, and by bridging various spiritual traditions and sharing the universal teachings of the Vedic wisdom in new and holistic ways. Then in parallel, for over a year, I was experiencing the power and beauty of the Moonai Key rites initiations of the 9 energy centers, starting with the 4 Wind Society group meetings in Ojai, California, and culminating with the 2 extraordinary weeks in the Sacred Valley of Peru, with the original Andean shamans known as Pocos on a different sacred site in the Andean mountains each day. The experience healing on all levels, the chakra openings and revelations were hard to even describe. The realization that all healing comes from within was reinforced and continued to be integrated in my daily life, and even during the 1-month journey to India that followed. I was blessed to visit and immerse myself in various sacred Indian sites, all the way from Mount Kailash in the Himalayas to the ashrams in Varanasi, from the Asian temples in Delhi to the spice farms near Goa beaches in the south. In between these inner and outer adventures and journeys within and around the world, I had the opportunity to experience several transformational festivals and life-changing retreats that further deepened my realizations and brought even more revelations, such as Lightning in a Bottle, the Oneness Festival, the Oregon County Fair, the several TED conferences in California Desert and Doha, Qatar, the Silence Retreat with Gangaji in the Omega Institute in Rhinebeck, New York, and culminating in the unique and unforgettable experiences of Burning Man in the Nevada desert. Yet all these incredible outer adventures and inner journeys could not come close to the transformation that resulted from my first psychedelic experiences and entheogenic journeys, Since I was told for decades to stay away from any and all street drugs as they are highly addictive and will certainly have me end up in a mental hospital or jail, I was practically a virgin when it came to any forbidden substances and street drugs, including the legal ones like alcohol, tobacco, and painkillers. So contrary to most who start using and experimenting with altered states and various psychedelic substances, and usually start smoking cigarettes, then joints, then LSD, I started in reverse order, straight from the top of the psychedelic pyramid, so to say, with the God molecule itself, the 5-MeO-DMT, without even realizing it. And before continuing, I really want to express my ongoing deep gratitude to the now beyond the veil, James Orrock, and his amazing legacy, Epiphanies and life body of works through his books, experiences, and sharings, especially his life-transforming books, The Tryptamine Palace, as well as The New Psychedelic Revolution, which along with the several synchronistic in-person meetings with The Rock at Burning Man and the Psychedelic Culture and Visionary Arts Festival in Hawaii, contributed significantly to my own awareness, appreciation, and integration of the myriad aspects of such deep and ongoing transformation, caused and catalyzed by the entheogenic experiences and especially 5-MDE. So about a few seconds after I drew the strange smelling smoke down into my lungs and inhaled the last of the vapor, it began with a fast rising sensation of excitement and wonder, with a strong sense of, wow, this is it. There was a tremendous feeling of speed and acceleration beyond time and space. In perhaps few more seconds, these feelings built to such an intensity I have never experienced before. The entire universe imploded through my consciousness, and suddenly all my surroundings vanished and my ego dissolved and my identity and life disappeared. My entire world just went away. Everything I had ever known or thought or felt melted away into absolute pure bright light, pulsating and alive. It was shocking how fast and furious my ego, my body, my identity, my life, and everything associated with them disappeared. All of them were fully obliterated through the impossibly fast 5-MDE expansion in my brain and being. And suddenly, I was identical with the God, Goddess, one with the highest consciousness, merged with the pure love and inseparable from the creative energy in this omniverse that took me on a cosmic tour beyond time and space and anything I could ever imagine. I was shown the infinite source of creative energy, in which all things and beings exist in absolute and unquestionable perfection, beauty, and harmony. In literally a few heartbeats, this amazing sacred medicine has pierced all my boundaries, blasted through my mind resistance, and dropped all my lifelong programming. It opened me up to all that is, and its magic, mystery, and majesty. I became fully aware of, acknowledged, and accepted my own divinity, infinity, and eternity at the same time, without a shadow of a doubt in its truth, enormity, and reality. This all may sound like a fairy tale and a new agey stuff or hallucinations, as it was experienced intergalactic travel through various densities and dimensions, with speeds faster than light and thought, witnessing infinite big bangs and creation and disappearance of universes, the birth and death of galaxies and the rise and fall of planetary systems, the fusion of black and white cosmic holes, and so much more. I felt infinite awe and profound wonder of the immensity and intelligence of it all. And as my old life and worldviews quickly evaporated, they were replaced with an overwhelming and ecstatic epiphany of this indescribable new cosmic reality, infinite wisdom and universal love that permeated, caused, and created it all, and that my soul, spirit, and being was one with all that is. Slowly, I came back from that infinite expansion into the nothingness that was everything. Paradoxical, right? Like a spaceship re-entering the atmosphere, I could feel the layers of my individual sense of self beginning to reassert themselves. The ego and identity that had been completely obliterated in the instantaneous expansion brought by the 5-MDE regained their foothold as I exited that exalted state, and I knew myself once more. I understood that I was Darina once again. This collection of values and habits and judgments and beliefs and choices and attitudes, thoughts, behaviors, emotions, that it was seemingly the same old me I had lived with all my life, but now I knew. Now I knew with all my heart and soul that there truly was something much more, and that something was way more profound, more complete, and more truly real and sacred than anything I had ever conceived or imagined before. I knew that in the end, we, all of us, each one of us, and everything that we see, hear, taste, touch, feel, experience is really just one being. It's all God and Goddess, and it's all love, and love is the only reality and truth. And that was my first mystical union, most intense experience ever, which transformed my life, my being, my living in ways I'm still in process of fully comprehending, appreciating, and integrating. Since that first full absorption into God and Goddess and pure light and love, I have been blessed to return to those altered states and blissful experiences on other occasions with various visionary and psychedelic plant medicines, which I mentioned, like ayahuasca and magic mushrooms and San Pedro and Bufo and Kambo and coca leaves and kratom and others. And I have been so grateful to experience the profound healing power of these plant medicine, especially medical marijuana, because it dramatically changed my attitude toward death and altered the dying experience for my mother, while healing incurable diseases such as epilepsy and cancer and autoimmunity in me and my loved ones. I have both experienced and witnessed unimaginable transformations of physical and mental and health and habits and beliefs and thoughts and actions in me and others that no other therapies or treatments and modalities, conventional or alternative, could have ever achieved. So my own views of life and death and living and dying and meaning and purpose have been considerably altered, enriched and expanded, and I have become much more open to perspectives and ideas that I would have previously found illogical or even impossible. So since my 5-MDE, I have found myself far more tolerant and caring and compassionate, and the occurrence of synchronicities in my life also became much more common and frequent. While there is always a risk when engaging with profoundly powerful agents, such as these plant medicines and sacraments, the truth is that visionary medicines are here to help remind us of our true natures and of our divine spiritual reality that envelopes, permeates us, and expresses through us in every moment of our lives. They are true gifts of the universe that not only bring us to exalted states, but allow us to experience directly and deeply our divine consciousness and goddess nature via shamanic journeys, healing ceremonies, and mystical raptures into the infinite. These plant medicine teachers are probably our best opportunity to transcend our fears and challenges, and as incredible tools, but with our wise and careful use. When we're used with conscious intent, an open heart, and a desire to directly experience the sacred and the mysterious, they can be and often become life-altering agents of awakening and healing on all levels. They can and do bring us back to ourselves and ultimately to Goddess, to Source, and to the ultimate mystery, beauty, and love. So to summarize my psychedelic lessons on entheogenic epiphanies, first, one is all and all is one, and I am that oneness and duality too, and we all are. Second, we are becoming who we are, masters of light with love. Third, death and dying are not to be feared, but experienced consciously. Fourth, we are multidimensional beings and co-creators of our consensus reality. Five, life as spiritual beings having amazing human experiences is such a gift. Six, each plant and each journey is unique, precious, and can be deeply healing. Seven, psychedelic plants are sacraments and blessings in the open. The entheogens can even act as empathogens and give the opportunity to transcend fears and heal traumas by inducing love and compassion. Eight, the crucial importance of intent, setting, sharing, and integration. Nine, we are all awakening, healing, and transforming, both individually and collectively, guided, helped, and supported by many other light beings, intergalactic entities, multidimensionally intelligence, extraterrestrial benevolent forces, and universal wisdom, infinite beauty, unstoppable joy, pure light, and unconditional love. And last but not least, everything within and without unfolds perfectly in synergy with the infinite intelligence, in harmony with the everlasting beauty, in alignment with the cosmic evolution, in the name, service, and wisdom of love, in the eternal now, within and beyond time and space, expanding, evolving, and co-creating beyond our wildest dreams, fantasies, and imagination. I and we are it, that, and all, and both experiencing it every single moment and co-creating it together. So I want to really thank Lakshmi and all speakers and participants today, and once again, for providing the space, time, and opportunity for such important, useful, and life-altering discussions on these crucial topics with such care, understanding, and impact. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Darina. That was really wonderful, so well thought out and powerful.
Thank you.
We only have a minute before the next talk. Does anybody have a question? I think we can take one question. I want to make a comment here while waiting about DMT and 5-MeO DMT being your first experience. Well, for those who aren't aware of this, DMT is produced in the body, and the pineal gland is what gets activated when you do 5-MeO DMT. And they say that the pineal gland is calcified, and it's calcified because we haven't taken entheogens for such a long time. This is my theory, that if we were taking entheogens, if it hadn't been prohibited, we would be in a different state of consciousness, all of us, as a human species. And maybe we're returning to that. And that's what is going on here with all of us gathering and talking about it and influencing others.
I just wanted to add, there's so many books and videos on YouTube and documentaries about DMT and 5-MeO, even celebrities taking it and sharing about their own experience. So it's becoming a little bit more mainstream, both in the US and around the world. But there is one recent documentary that I really want to recommend seeing. It's called Awake in the Darkness by Aubrey Marcus, which has literally unique take on stories and visualization of their psychedelic journeys all the way from ayahuasca to DMT. with various entheogens. But the main part of it is what happens during the darkness retreat, the time, intentional time in darkness that he has spent. And truly, it's something special that all of us here will really appreciate. As well as I mentioned, the books of James Orrock and Martin Ball, who have been incredible in this journey. So
somebody wants to know who the guru was.
The guru is Swami Vidyadishananda, who is the only one from this lineage actually living and residing in Santa Barbara, California, while the few other remaining monks of this lineage live, as I said, in the caves of the Himalayas, and the only way he communicates with them is through telepathy. They have no other ways. And it's so amazing that once in a year, he will send a devotee to the caves up in the Himalayas, and the monk who resides there would know to come out and greet that person at the exact time and place that was meant to happen without any other way of communication. To give just an example of the magic happening in real life in the Himalayas and in California.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.